So New Zealand Customisation. So we have both Lane and Dylan. Some of this is things that they're providing for version 10 for their users. So they've put a lot of work into the customisation, so we wanted to show you what sort of things they're doing, and I think they're making it available then to virtually anybody who wants to use it as well. So I'll let them let you talk to you about it. Lane's background is he was selling more on the surveying side years ago, and he's been with 12D now for 10 years, I think. And we went from not very many customers in New Zealand to being now New Zealand's largest surveying company. There we sell more surveying than any other firm by a long way, and the design side has been going in leaps and bounds as well. And as you saw, the skirt project with all those users all coming on board just for the design. Dylan's background is in civil engineering, so that's the side he came from, and in particular interest as well as in drainage. So between them they're looking after our New Zealand people very, very well. So I'll hand over to Lane and Dylan.
Thank you, Lee. A while back we actually started looking at the customisation in New Zealand and what people actually use and how they use it, and I always sort of took the stance of, hey, you guys customise your own sort of suites and everything else like that. It came about when we were doing a bit of training. We used to use very vanilla type sort of naming conventions and things like that, so we decided that we'd look at the customisation as a full suite. When I mean full suite, we're talking about the CAD, the survey, the design and the drainage. There we go. We found that there was actually no real standards in New Zealand. Some people were using some roading authority standards, but once again that was only based at a sort of like a design level. No one had actually really looked at the overall picture. So what we did, Dylan and I, we sat down and we looked at the survey, the design, the drainage and the CAD and the plotting, so that we could actually make all of our naming conventions correct. As you know, there's a lot of customised files inside 12D. We wanted to bring them all together so that somebody had your users have an example of every type of file that you could actually use. As I said, we were just training vanilla 12D, and we had some terrible naming conventions. Our models were all over the place. It was shocking, really. So what we're now doing is we're using these new customised files in all of our training, and it actually is starting to work really well. Dylan.
One of the reasons I'm a little bit shorter than that. One of the reasons was why do it? Keeping it up to date. The thing is, we're not a council, we're not a territorial authority, we're not a company. It's Lane and myself and the guys from New Zealand, and when it comes to, oh, what's gone all green? When it comes to keeping it up to date, we make the decision. We're going to do it all on the forum. We don't have to go through subcommittees and redo, standard documents that get signed off by everybody. It's about getting some standards that everybody can work with straight away, and just pick up and update. And if somebody gives us a bit of feedback saying this doesn't work, or hey, why don't we add this, we'll add it in there, because it's a benefit to all of the 12D users straight away. And transferring of data, another reason why you do it is 12DA file. It's one of the most common passed along files between surveyors and designers, and if you've got your survey and your design customisation fully up to date and all your names are right, your designer should be seeing exactly what the survey is doing. There's no worries about symbols, you don't have the same symbols library or don't have the same line style libraries.
In version 9, like you go around in that, you'll see the desktops will be all configured with many 12D icons on their desktops pointing to different environment files. That worked very well. But no one actually really used the new features inside version 9 with the environment configuration files. So with our customisation, we've actually made a whole lot of different configurations so that people can use those with our files. So it gives them more examples of how they can actually do things, and they can build on that when they have for other clients and things like that. It also gives you the ability to have less icons on your desktop, make better use of your dongles, so you can point to your dongles correctly, because there's a lot of people out there that have multiple network locks around the place. And within the offices and that, it gives you more consistency and throughout multiple offices and that. The other one that we found really useful is the user underscore line style files. We've actually started to use those a lot more to point to customer libraries and things like that. So that has actually made it a lot easier. With V9, believe it or not, some people were actually copying their user files from version to version. There's people out there that are still running their version 7 Toolbars file. I had one client, says, I just want to fill it. I just said, well, just go to your toolbar here and walk right on that one and that and use your fill it. He says, well, there isn't an option. So go to the main menu and that, sure enough, it's there. These people aren't seeing all of these new toolbars. For example, like the design toolbars and the drainage toolbars which came out.
So that was what version 9 gave us, and what does version 10 give us? Well, it gives us 2 extra levels of being able to save customised files. Okay, we're going to have a customer user folder and a customer library folder to use if you want. So in a typical situation, this might be you've got project-specific files that you want to retain the majority of the customisation for your company standards, but for a project you've got different line styles or symbols or title block files or whatever, and you can have that extra level of storage, if you like. And with us, you can have all of our standard 12D New Zealand customised data, and if you guys want to use the customer user and the customer lib, because it searches those folders first before it does the when you're loading 12D, you can very, very easily put your own company standards on top of the customisation that we've already done. That's me. Oh, he's put a D on that one. So, how does it all work? The most important thing to get our customisation working is the file structure. Okay, Lane was saying about those user underscore symbols and user underscore line styles. What we've done is we've put in a really easy to understand file structure that you can either put on your local drive or put on your network drive, and it's just a matter of repathing 1 or 2 files and everything just does a very nice, very easy search through there. The file structure, just to give you an idea, we have 4 standard folders. There's a help, images, styles and toolbars. The toolbars, everything references the user underscore toolbars.4d file, which is just the standard one that 12D looks for. But within there, what we've done is we've used a number of hash includes. So under the toolbars file, we've got extra attributes, extra delete, extra drainage. You can split up your customization into individual little .4d files. So if a company wanted to come in and say, ABC company toolbars, they can have only their toolbars in a file, and then back in the user underscore toolbars, it's just a little hash include reference. Also include this file, and it all just loads. So that applies for the toolbars, the user line styles and the user symbols. Everything comes back to that version 9 feature of having the user underscore files.
Done a couple of installations already with the user files and that, and people have got all of their old line styles and that. What we've done is made it nice and easy. It's just a matter of getting the old line styles file, renaming it, putting it into the correct folder, and deleting out any of the unwanted line styles. Giving it a good group name, and this is actually bringing it forward to when version 11 comes, you'll be ready to just transform all those files through. So it just makes it a lot easier in that. Right, that's... What we've got here is we've got 3 base configurations that we've actually created within our environment configurations: the survey, the design and the drainage. We haven't gone into a lot of detail of changing things, but you can see there that we've got the names.4d file, a different type of file for each one. They're very, very similar in structure and that, but the names follow through from survey to design to drainage.
And on names, you heard Sam and the Skirt Boys talking this morning about the importance of the names file. If you get the names right, all of your customisation, all of your flash things, all of the change you want to do work very well. So what we've done is we've sort of taken that a step further, not just the design side of things. We have put naming standards, or come up with naming standards that are 12D names. Okay, so get the names right, everything else follows. Your plot parameter files, your drainage files, your cover files. As long as you get that base structure right, that all goes. So previous customisation has been built on old string naming. I don't know about you, but I've never used anything like MX, and I have no idea what a CEO1 string means. I know what an MC string means, but I have no idea what the other terminologies are, okay? So what we've done is we've put an easy, plain text 12D terminology. When 12D asks you in a panel to pick a reference string, why don't you have a reference string called RS01 or RS Joe Blogg Street? It's a reference string. That's what you're being asked for on the panel in 12D. If you want to pick a hinge string, why not have a string called RS Hinge01? Okay, it's all about getting those 12D terminology all the way through, and everybody who uses 12D, if you think of it, if they all start using this terminology, they can go from company to company, job to job, and they pick it up and they know exactly what's going on. There's no individual standard. It's something that's been made specifically for 12D. Now, how do you make it easy for people to use these string names? Step one, you give them a list. So those configurations, what you're seeing up here is a screenshot. Anywhere in 12D, the CAD properties toolbar, or you're creating a super alignment, when you pick that names file, this is what you see in our customisation. If you're opening up a job with the survey customisation, you say I'm drawing a new string or I'm creating a new string, everything's there in plain text, and it'll put it through into a consistent naming file. So you can see there we've got, in the design side of things, we've got reference string drive. It's all there, you just pick it from a list. And if you don't quite know what you're picking from a list, step number 2 is you give them a picture. Okay. So yeah, I don't know how well you can see things there. So hinge string, HSO1, because you asked for a hinge string in 12D. Reference string drive, a reference string cul-de-sac, an RSCDS string. And it's all there on the names. When you click on the names list, you see that full description, and then you can just put your own postfix after it or your own prefix. And what happens is once you start using these names, when we start talking about all the customized files down the line, it all just works. Right.
When we say a full suite of customisation, we do mean a full customisation. We've virtually gone through every single 4D file that we could actually possibly think of and given examples. We've worked all the way through from, like the survey side of things, like from the survey data reduction files, the mapping files. We've given standard model prefixes. We've documented all of this, and put it all in place so that people can actually follow these standards. Tin naming conventions, like everybody knows that, like, hey, we call it tin ground, but what about all the other models that you have, your contours, your depth contours, things like that. So, it's tin, ground, depth contours, things like that. If we start following those standards, it just makes it a lot easier. We also, made, example reference, depth range files and height files, just some standard ones that we'd probably use, the ones that we would use in our courses and such like. Also, like all your symbols and your line styles, to match all of your mapping all the way through. And the other thing is with our plotting, and that we're thinking of our plotting, so all of our colours are all correct, and we're going to get all the right line styles, line weights. We've also made a whole lot of new line styles that are all based around plotting, so that they'll plot out correctly and things like that. Also, like all of the label map files, like in the example map files that we give you for the the download for survey instruments, we've got examples of attributes. So you're picking your attributes, so that flows through into the likes of the label map files. So you're labeling your trees out in the field, and they're coming up with the right tree names and sizes and things like that. We've got example PPFs, based loosely on what SCIRT are doing as well. We've got all the output mapping files. So that we can output things to other products. You've got, so all of the different colours come through and all the rest of it. The title blocks, a lot of more people are doing plotting in New Zealand out of 12D. So we've got, all of the examples that people can use for all of the different types of plotting. The long sections and plans and everything else like that.
So, full suite for design, we've got things like function naming standards. I don't know if you were with Peter's presentation, he was going through the new Apply Mini Manager. If you've got your Apply Mini defaults right, all your function names go through, all your road names or your model names are prefixed and postfixed with those there. String naming standards, obviously we saw the names, Apply Mini defaults, we've got example template files. You can read in, there's about 20 different templates, curb only, V cutoff drains. all using those names. So they match everything through. Example, mapping files that match the template files, sorry, the boxing files that match the template files. So you can just immediately run an example boxing on those templates that you've just brought in. Design mapping files, so all of the names get mapped to the correct line style straight away when you're running your apply mini function. Names and models for string creation, long section PPF files, there's 3 or 4 examples of those. Cross section PPF files, there's examples on those. Title block files and output map files. So if you've got a string, let's say you've called it IK for inverted curve, and you want to output that to something like BricsCAD or DGN or AutoCAD, and you want everything that's named IK to go out into a layer called channels, and you want it to be by layer color line style, all those example output map file files are there, and they match from the names right through. Drainage. Example, drainage.4d files. And the drainage.4d files go through to the pit naming files. We've got example cover files, road naming files, drop files, cover files, grade files, catchment files, clash files, drainage PPFs, everything that goes through the drainage suite of things. So anything you're going to be asked from the drainage network editor, there's an example there for you to pick up that, again, match all of those customised names.
So how does it work? From the instrument, you can download, use that mapping file to get your base data into the correct models, correct layers, correct line styles. Then you can run your label map files to get that extra data on there automatically and quickly. From there, you can start with your output files that were sort of mentioned in that. So it's a seamless sort of flow through. Now, like at the survey level, if you're putting in all your services correctly, you've got your design work on top of that. When you do your drainage, you'll get all your different clashes and everything else like that. So all of those clash files are all part and parcel of the data coming through from survey all the way through to your design. So you're getting all your cut strings on your long plots and everything else like that.
So design, I've probably explained that well enough. When you're running your design, you're using the templates or the naming conventions, and they all map through to your mapping files. And then your output map files, everything goes out, and you can just have it in the right layers and line styles and colours straight away. PPFs as well. So you see from a section view, if you use one of our long section PPFs, that long section PPF has got a matching AutoCAD or output map file straight away too. So that all of those lines go into different layers and design levels and stuff like that, and you can play around with them and change them. And similarly for our drainage. So if you're doing a drainage design in 12D, you start with the drainage.4D. The pit naming file maps everything that's a CP, all the right prefixes, all the right naming conventions and numbering conventions. Plot that out to a drainage plan PPF, which is there, and again an output map file so you can put it to whatever you want. And for the long section side of things, you've got your drop files, your cover files, your clash files, and everything goes through from there.
Lee's been kind enough to actually put a section up on the 12D General Forum, and it's New Zealand Customisation, and not only that, it's only for the New Zealand people, so nobody else can actually get on it. The other things is that, we're going to keep it up to date, it will save time, save standards, and the other thing is actually free. So the one thing I do like about this is that we can actually see who's actually browsing. So they're all New Zealanders up there browsing at the moment. So how do the Aussies get it? Well, it's quite simple. Find a Kiwi, buy them a beer, and then maybe we might actually give you the links. Okay? Hey, thank you very much. If you need to know anything more about it, give us a yell. We're hoping to actually make it all open for everybody. We just want to get it up there first and just see how it goes. We've had probably about 100 downloads so far. So, we've got every file there that we possibly think of and the documentation with it. We're starting to get a bit of feedback from other people on that, which is really good. So, thank you.
Now, obviously, Lane won't open that up to the Australians, so you've bought him enough beers over the next 3 days. So if you do the right job in the next couple of days, the Australians will have access to it as well. The main thing, Lane, just want to make sure it was all working very well with the New Zealanders. He somehow said something about the Australians aren't quite as intelligent, and then he'll let them onto it as well.